Welcome, foolish mortals. So I did a full-on Wish rewrite. I watched Wish when it first came to Disney Plus, and I thought it was okay. We have a villain and it's an original story, so it must be watchable. Then I rewatched some old Disney movies, and then I thought, oh no, Wish isn't actually good. It's barely even okay. It's just not a remake or a sequel. And I have seen like some of the reviews, and I have seen people say it was written by AI, and I can feel like it is just a checklist. I get that. I see that. So I figured, why not just redo Wish, but sort of take some of the concepts of what Wish was maybe supposed to be in like the concept art and some of their initial thoughts and drawings, and kind of put it all together in a nice pretty little sparkly star-like bow. So first off, I'm going to talk you through the characters, and then maybe like some of the scenery, and then we're going to get into the story. First things first, Asha, the main character. She has the adorable personality that I know a lot of people say that, we don't need. I agree. We don't need that. We don't need the adorable personality type. We've already got a lot of that. We don't need any more. But you know what? You can still have a strong, independent woman main character. I don't want it to be mostly comedic and adorable. It just didn't work for her. Like, I get the whole Seven Dwarf thing. I get it. Okay, I get it. Like, yeah, we're doing a reference to Snow White. It's the original. Yes, I know. I understand. I get it. But no, we don't need it. We don't need it. So, you know what we can do instead? Instead of having like 7, we can have like 3. So, maybe like Mickey, Goofy, Donald, Dahlia, Gabbo, and Dario. We're going to have them outfitted like akin to like some of how they are with the 7 Dwarfs, but like Mickey, Donald, and Goofy. I was also thinking like the 3 fairies, but I think no, I like the Mickey, Donald, and Goofy vibe more, because that's more like classic, isn't it? Anyhow, and then in the actual concept art, initially sort of thoughts that were going through in Disney brain, we had a power villain couple. Yeah, I want the power villain couple back. King Magnifica and Queen Amaya are a power villain couple. Yes. So when it comes to the design of the characters, I think Asha needs to have maybe like a blue cloak with like little stars on it, akin to Sorcerer's Apprentice vibe. I think that would be quite cute. And then I want her to be like, there's this concept art where she's wearing like orange. I like that, so can we roll with that, please? I prefer that than the purple, because we've already had like a lot of purple. We don't need another. We've already got a lot of Magnifica. He needs to have black robes and purple robes like mixed together in like this villainous sweet spot. I don't stuff like this. I want his hair to be longer, maybe in like a little ponytail or something cute with like a bow, because the Disney classic villains, the women had like almost no hair or really short hair, and then like the men had longer hair, or they had like, little ponytails, they had like cute little bows. I want to like keep with that sort of feel. Star, still merchandisable for the most part, but he's going to be a shapeshifter akin to Morph, but that will come in a little bit more clear when we go into the story. Design of the scenery. It was so great. Why was it so great? Just, why can't we have more colour? I want more colour. Like, you can still have a watercolour vibe. Like, you can have a watercolour vibe. Like, look, you can have a watercolour vibe, and it will still be nice and pretty and colourful and nice. This animation style to me just didn't look rendered. I know I'm not the only one to say this, but literally when I was first watching it, and just the storybook scene, I was watching it, and then I was like, oh, are we over the storybook scene now? Oh, wow, we're already in the movie. Okay. Like, I get the whole reason behind like the choice, like you wanted to do like this 3D meets 2D, but thing is the colours are so muted, and like the characters are so sharp and like they're structured that they just don't work with the environment. The lighting just doesn't work. It just needs to be more dramatic, like brighter in parts and darker in parts. Like some of it looked okay. Like You're a Star song, that actually had better lighting, because I guess you've got the star like floating around looking all glowy and stuff. But for the most part, it was just flat. I want more charm in the scenery, more like soft and whimsy and fairy tale-esque and cute and pretty with like the watercolours and it actually colourful and not great. Yes, more charm, fairy tale, please. And then also, how Magnifica's face is like around like everywhere all of the time, but actually like the symbol for rose there is a rose, and it's quite a cool looking rose actually. I quite like the little symbol. But why can't we have more of that? I didn't even really see that. In my brain, I just never really clocked that. I don't know if I'm just really stupid and I didn't notice that, but all I saw was King Magnifico's face. I thought that was the symbol for roses, but turns out it was actually the rose. In Tangled, you've got that sun everywhere. Like the sun motif is just everywhere you look. is like that. This is clear that this is a corona symbol, right? Right. So why don't we just do that with the rose? Make it more so, and let's just not have Magnifico's face like everywhere. Like I get him meant to be a narcissist, but I didn't really get that until he started going, "This is the thanks I get." Do. That villain song. Oh my god! Could you imagine? Be prepared. Do. It hasn't really got the same vibe. But anyhow, cool. This is the whole rewrite. We've got our setting. We know what we're looking at. Cool. So it opens. Once upon a time, and this, all of the art is all beautifully washed out, beautiful blendy watercolour within this art book style. Okay, so yeah, once upon a time, and the picture is a lovely image of Asha and her dad in the tree, looking at the sky, at the stars, and they're together, and yeah, they've been having like a conversation, and Dad says, "We're all connected like stardust, and we can wish upon a star. Everyone is connected." So this is going to be kind of like a thing. If you wish upon a star, your purest wish, then it will come true. But you can't tell anybody your wish, because if you tell somebody your wish, it won't come true. So within this storybook, we then turn the page, and then we see that Dad actually worked for King Magnifico. We don't really see King Magnifico at this point. We maybe get some like vibes of colour that like represents him, you know, that sort of thing. But he's there like looking after the wishes, and then Dad, he falls ill and he gets sick and he dies. Sad. And then we turn the page, and then it's Asha, and we kind of go into the book then, and it goes into more of the normal animation style. It turns out that Asha has overtaken the apprentice role, and she's going around and she's singing about the stuff she does as her apprentice role. And she's going, "Oh look, I have my own wand, and I can make plates and cups dance, and I can make this pumpkin big, but I don't really have an impact in people's lives. And I wish to meet the king, and I've never seen the wishes," and you know, all this sort of stuff all within this one song. It's similar, like the way that they talk about how the wishes work, like you give your wish over when you're 18. I want that part within the song, but it's obviously not the City of Roses song, because I do really like that song, because we've already got a song quite like that in Encanto. But I want it to be more like happy, yay, musical, Disney-esque type vibe. I don't want it to be a Lin-Manuel Miranda knockoff. I want it to be more like an Alan Menken knockoff. And then because we're doing like references, you can talk about like the wish rules as well within the song, and like how there's only 3 rules, blah blah blah. And one of them is you can't bring people back from the dead, you can't wish for more wishes, and you can't wish for making somebody fall in love with you. Then it's like sort of established that she doesn't know the people well. Maybe she looks out, she's like, "I'm so busy, I don't get to see people, but I see them like walking around down there doing their thing." You know, something along those kind of lines as well. She was like, be like dusting stuff and putting books back together and like an order, and she's like refilling potions, and she's sort of like learning as she's going, but she's not really like, you know, into the magic so much because she doesn't have the opportunity. And she sees the queen who's like, "You good dude," and she's like, "Yes, I wish I could meet Magnifico and see the wishes." And she's like, "Haha, one day, child," you know, that kind of vibe. So she opens the roof every night so that then the wishes can bathe in the starlight and become more magical and powerful. And then every morning she closes the roof, and yeah, we kind of go through this. We go through maybe like a few days of her doing this within the song, and obviously with like little breaks for talking, so we get to sort of know her character through song. So then after the song, Asha comes down to like the kitchen, and we go and see like the only people she really ever speaks to, who are her friends and not family. These are the 3 friends, and they're kind of like a bit comedic as well as like cute, but also help move the story forward. They're kind of like her sidekick kind of vibe. And it's Dahlia's, you know, Mickey Mouse, it's Dahlia's 18th birthday coming up very, very soon, but she's kind of nervous about giving her wish across to King Magnifico after what happened with Simon. Because Simon used to be so full of happiness and joy, and now he's all just kind of like sad and sleepy, and he just kind of just goes about his life just kind of like, cool, whatever, you know, kind of like how he is actually in the movie. Obviously, Dahlia doesn't want to be like all sad and dull and stuff, so she's a bit nervous, but they're like, "Oh, but King Magnifico is just so great, you know, it's really worth it for having your wish potentially, you know, granted." I couldn't think of what the word was then. And obviously it's like redone in conversation, like re-established that, you know, you can't tell anyone your wish because then it won't come true. And cut to see her home life, maybe like have like an establishing shot of like a really cute like cottage thing, sort of like akin to old Disney style cottages like Sleeping Beauty or Snow White, you know, that sort of like vibe. And then we'll like go into the cottage and we will see like her mum making some food, and then Asher's there like laying the table while her like granddad sits at the table. So Asher and Sambino, granddad, is having a chat. You know, it's his 100th birthday tomorrow. Oh my god, that's so exciting! It's his 100th birthday, and then the mum's like, oh, you know what would be like really nice if you talk to the king and see if he'll grant your granddad's wish for his 100th birthday. Now, wouldn't that be super cool? And then Asher's like, oh my god, mum, like I couldn't possibly do that. Like I don't even know the king. And then the mum's like, well, you know, it wouldn't hurt to ask. And then the granddad's like, oh, you don't have to do that for me. I'm just happy as I am in my little family. But there always has been this missing part of my soul, yeah, kind of vibe. And then Ashley's all like, oh, okay, well, I don't see any problem with asking. I guess he is the king and he is like so great. And I have worked for him as an apprentice for like so long and I don't even know him, but I'll ask anyway. So then, anywho, it's just before the ceremony. So then Ash is like, oh, let's go find the king, blah, 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 to go and find out if, you know, her granddad's wish can be granted. And then she like accidentally bursts in on them and this like weird like magic flare looking thing, and the king and queen are like, oh, what are you doing here, Asher? You know you shouldn't be here. And then Asher's like, but king, my dude, I need to talk to you. It's my Sambino's 100th birthday, and what would be so sweet is if you're able to grant his wish. You know, he's turning 100 years old. That would be like super sweet and magical of you. You are such a gracious king after all. And then the king's like, come with me, Asher. And then he takes her to like the wish place. But the wishes aren't just like orbs just like floating about. They look cooler than that. But they are like floating about. Then there's going to be like significantly less than what she had expected. She was expecting like a whole load of them, and there's just kind of like quite a few of them. But there's not like as many as she thought there was going to be. So she's looking around like, wow, these are amazing. And I want to actually like visually represent how amazing they are. Not blue orbs with pictures in them. I want it to feel more colourful and bright and add some watercolour in it. It's going to look pretty cool, my dudes. And she's like, wow, are these the wishes? They're amazing. Oh my god, yeah. And then she's like, where's my Sambino's wish? And he's like, oh, your Sambino's wish is way too dangerous to grant. I couldn't possibly grant it to her. And she's like, but my Sambino? No way. He's not a bad dude. And then he's like, oh, you're really asking me to grant the wish? And she's like, I am Mr. King. I would love if you grant my Sambino's wish. Like, that would be so cool. And then he does like a rendition of This Is the Thanks I Get, but like targeted at her. Like, after all I've done for you, the opportunities I've given, for everything I've taught you, like, this is the thanks I get. But I want it to be in a minor key and not quite as like, I want to actually have some menace and stuff to it, you know, like an actual villain song. And then Ash is like, oh my god, like that's so scary, don't do that, oh my god. And then he takes her wand and he's like, snapperoo, my doodloo, and then just throws it away. Bye, you're fired. I don't need you in my life anymore after all of this. But like within the song of This Is the Thanks I Get. So she runs home, she's like, no, I lost my job. And then mum's like super blaming, like, well, you must have said something. I mean, because why would he just fire you? I mean, it must be your fault, because, you know, the king's like super nice and stuff, and he grants people's wishes. Why wouldn't he be like super lovely? So they have like this argument, and then Ash is like, runs through the village, and this is like the first time she's really run through the village and like noticing people, and she notices that like people who are like over the age of 18, like actual adults, are looking like kind of like dull and just kind of going about their life like it's just a mission to get through it. But then like you've got all these kids like sort of like bouncing around, they seem like so happy and colourful, and like this is where we can use like colour better. Like, we can use some of like the grey, duller, muted colours within some of like the clothing for like the adults, you know, to represent all this like within their spirits. And then she's like running through the village, she starts singing, and then she runs off to the tree, and then she starts singing her I Want song. You know, it's not quite as poppy, it's more like musical-esque. And then she goes to the tree, and then we want more surroundings. You know, that like panning shot of her where she's got like the wind blowing in her hair and stuff. Like, I want that to be more like more stars and more scenery. like really like, oh my god, like I want more than this, and then it'll like cut to this like shooting plushy marketable star like falling to the ground, like akin to like Stitch, like crash landing on Earth. And then yeah, so he's like a star, and he comes out and he's like, what? But like he doesn't talk yet. And he's like going around, and then he like, as he goes by things, like he gives like colour to like the woods and stuff. So where there's trees, like they all start to like move and bend and bloom, and like the flowers like grow and bloom, and then the animals become more like anthropomorphic. And it's all just kind of like a bit more magical, more colourful, more bright and vibrant and sparkly and pretty. And then basically Star's like trying to, as he's doing this, he's like morphing into different things. So he then like morphs into the different animals, the different like mushrooms, the different flowers. And then he'll just like keep morphing, like Morph in Treasure Planet. But he'll just keep doing it for quite a while until like he then like looks out at the village and he sees people like walking around and stuff, and then he like morphs into his like human form, like the Starboy form, like as per concept art. And he's like watching people like come back from like the wish ceremony, and we might have seen like maybe that girl getting a like dream of like making the prettiest dresses or whatever come true, like something like that. They're quite basic, like done. And then he comes away and he's like, did you feel that, like to the Queen? And the Queen's like, oh my god, like I did feel that, oh shiz, what the heck was it? Like, and then he like looks into the wishes and he's like, oh, they're affected, and all the wishes are like shaking, like quivering. He gets like a book off the shelf and he's like, there's a threat amongst us, and he starts like peeling through the book and like, phew, there's nothing in that book, like peel through a different book. No. And then he'll like get another book and peel through that, and he goes, oh right, it was a star, someone made a wish upon a star. Basically the Queen, Amelia, is like, oh my god, no, oh dear, we've got to find the person who wished upon a star, because that's like so bad for you, my dude. Oh, my poor husband. So then we'll like cut to Asha, like she's in bed, she's like depressed, she's just like god, like I'm so like, oh, about life, like so emo, but like she's just like in bed, like just, oh woe is me. And she's like overhearing her mum talk to the granddad, like walking through the house. And then she's like, oh, she's been in bed for like a whole 3 days. Like, she's so mopey. Like, she could at least go get a job or something. And the granddad's like, I kind of agree, because without that job, you know, we're going to starve to death, considering you're my main caregiver and I'm like 100 years old, so I'm kind of retired now. But, you know, she's just a kid. Like, let her just mope around for a bit. She'll be okay. And then the mum's just like, okay, I do love my daughter, but yes, we are just going to like starve to death. So yeah, she needs to go and get a job sooner rather than later. Oh, my stupid daughter got fired from her job. What a shame. And they're just like, the voices are fading out as they're chatting. Hey, and then it's like the star boy just like floats through the window, and he's all like floating and stuff, and upside down he's all like glowy and like whatever, like a bit chaotic, and he's like, wow, what's this? Oh my god, wow. And maybe like picks up one of her forks, starts trying to brush his hair or something, throws it away. So basically chaos. And she's like, whoa, what are you? And he's like, you made the wish. And like, oh, I'm the star, you wished upon the star. And he's just like making a mess, and she's like, obviously she's like a really organised person. She's like trying to tidy up after him. She's trying to keep her books in alphabetical order. She's trying to arrange her ornaments to like all that nice stuff. She's like, whoa, what do you mean you're the star? And he's like, well, my dude, you made a wish, and I'm here to help you make it come true. And she's like, what? No, this can't be. You can't be a star. I mean, stars live up in the sky. Like, what the hell? Like, what is this? And he's like, yeah, like you made a wish upon a star. She's like, shush. Like my family can hear you. You know, just don't be so loud. He's then like morphing into different things that are like a paintbrush and, I don't know, like a teapot, whatever. I don't know, whatever how she has in her room. I don't know why she's got a teapot in her room. Maybe she has, I don't know. But she's got stuff in her room. He keeps like morphing into it, and then he goes back to his like starboy form, and he's like, what? You know, all the sort of like flowy chaos fun. And he's like, we will make your wish happen. You wish for more, and yeah, like I didn't understand your wish, so please elaborate. And she's like, well, King Magnifico, he's kind of like not a cool dude actually, and I think that people need to have their wishes back, because from what I can see, everyone's kind of like mopey without them. And you know, he was kind of actually an evil dude, now I come to think of it. He's just not really like nice and stuff. And Star's like, what? Someone's harnessing the power of wishes, but the only pure wishes come from the purest part of your heart, from your soul. Well, this isn't on. This is really bad. This affects the balance of the universe. If you give a wish over to somebody, then that's so dangerous, you're losing a part of yourself. And then Asher's like, oh yeah, that's pretty bad. And then he'll like take her off like on like a ride through the stars, and they'll like go around like kind of like a, I don't know, like a whole new world style kind of song. He'll be like going through the stars. The song, the I will protect you at all costs, like that song. But like the song needs to like make sense in context. Obviously the lyrics will be changed a bit, but it's that kind of vibe, a song. And it's kind of like a friendship vibe, and he's like doing like cute little things like as we're going around, like making like little magic bits happen, and she's like, oh my god, wow. But yeah, it was very like friendship vibes, not romancy vibes. So then they end up basically floating up to the tree, you know, where she made the wish in the first place. So they were like cut to Dahlia, and it's like her, obviously her 18th, and she's there like giving her wishes. So she's like, yes, I have a wish. And then she'll be like, okay, there we go, here's the wish. And he'll be like, thank you, wishy wish. And then she's like, goes on like, She's like, wow, thank you so much for the consideration of you taking my wish. I love you, King Magnifico. And then she'll like turn away and like walk off, and then it's just the king there with the wish, like, and then he'll like walk off with the wish, but like in an evil way. And then he'll like absorb the wish, and then he walks in like the queen. He's like, I'm so powerful, my dude, but like in an evil way. And then he's like, I can feel it. I can feel the star. And then together, like with all his like evil energy, him and the queen are gonna sing like a version of At All Costs that's more like, it's like a very short reprise of it, but like angled in like an evil way. You know how like you have the Prince Ali song, which is like Prince Ali, and then you have the Jafar's one, which is like Prince Ali. You know, that sort of vibe, like the two versions juxtaposition of one like being all like he, and then the other one be like haha, like evil. So then they're gonna like have their little sing-along thing and be like together like, oh, at all costs. Like obviously they like love each other so much, but it's like not that cute really, because they're like really evil. And then at the end of At All Costs, he's just like feels the lime green energy and then just like lets it go, and it all like pendulums around like out of like the castle and around about like down the stairs and around the halls, you know, all that kind of vibe, until it like seeps out into the village. So then we've like got Asher like sneaking back into the castle, and she's there like, I want her in her like little like blue cloak thing with like the little stars on it, like looking in like, ooh. And then she like finds Dahlia, and obviously she's like dull, and she's like, Dahlia, are you okay? And then Dahlia's like, yeah, I'm fine, yeah. And then Asher's like, Dahlia, like this, the king, he's not who we think he is. And Dahlia's like, what are you on about? Like he's great, he's like magnificent, like it's kind of in his name, Magnifico. And then the other friends come along and they're like, Asher, what are you doing here? And she's like, it's the king. Everyone's just super sad without their wish. Like he's taking something from you. And like, I've got a star, like I wished upon a star. And then like, no, that sounds really weird. Like what's gotten into you? You've obviously had a bit of a meant to be. Like you need help. And then Star comes over and he's like, yeah, I'm like a star and stuff. You're telling the truth, my dudes. And they're like, what? And then he starts singing, you know, the I'm a Star song, but like better, like the same vibe of like I'm a Star, but completely different lyrics and stuff. But the same thing is there. It's like, we're all connected and we're all stars, woo! And we're not having the lyrics, look at world, here I are, because that's ridiculous. I mean, why can't they just said we are? I mean, that makes way more sense, especially as it's a group number. But anyhow, that plagues my dreams. Moving on from that, they sing the song, and this is where we can include some of like, maybe the livestock, like they can maybe sing, like we can have like the chickens and goats and sheep and cows and horses, and they can all join in like the fun, like you're a star type vibe. And yeah, and they're like, what? Oh my god, this is crazy. But they kind of like join in with the fun of it all. And just afterwards, because you know the green tendrils are so kind to allow the song to finish, the green tendrils from the king just wraps around Star's ankle and like drags him away into the shadows. No, Star, what's happening? Come back. And then they try and rush into the castle, but then Magnifico like does this like, there is a traitor amongst us. Her name is Asher. She was my apprentice. She went against me and she's so evil. She's been playing with dark magic. People, bring her to me. And then obviously like the village essentially just like turns on her, and they're like, oh my god, we gotta go get her, bring her back to Magnifico. And he like she like runs away and she's like, oh my god, no, and she like puts her hood up and like sprints off into the woods. All of her friends and stuff are helping her like try and get away as well, and then Simon tries to distract the guards as well, and he's like, oh, I think she went that way, like when she actually went that way, you know, that kind of vibe. And then we cut to basically them running through the forest as well, like we just keep cutting forwards and backwards like they're running through the woods, and then she's like, go, and I was just like, oh my god guys, I'm so sorry for gotten you into all of this mess. And she like turns around, she's like, well, you see that wishing upon a star is more pure and stuff, and we're all connected to the stars, and Magnifico is naughty and doing something with your wishes. Don't you feel like something's lost? And Darling is like, I understand, we'll help you, but now you must go. And then we'll like cut back to the castle, and it's the king and the queen with Simon that's all like open. It's just them like just there, and he's like, Simon, tell me where Asha is. And Simon's like, oh god, I don't know about that. I don't know. Now I know that you know where she is, so tell me, you know, that kind of stuff. Here is your wish. If you tell me where Asha is, then I shall grant it. It will be yours. But if you don't, I can't do this seriously, sorry. But if you don't tell me, Simon, then the wish will be crushed. We get like a shot of Simon kind of like going like, so we don't actually know his answer. And then Asha bursts back home and she's like, Mum, Sambino, whatever his name is, we've got to go, Magnifico, he wants me like dead, captured, whatever it is, he wants me, he said I'm a traitor, I'm not a traitor, we have to go. And they're like, okay, we'll go. And she's like, I wished upon a star, I should never have wished upon a star. And then the mum's like, hey, I wished upon a star once too. And then they have like a little moment of like, oh my god, my dudes. And then they start like packing up as they start singing about escaping, because you know you can always have musical numbers. And they'll like be packing up and like, oh, you've got to go, Ashley, get out of here, we'll go ourselves, we'll go our separate ways. And then they'll be like, goodbye, and then she'll like run off out of the window and into the forest or whatever, and like she's got like her hood up and stuff, and like they're still singing and stuff, getting away and run away, a new start and escape, that sort of stuff. And then the song's cut off as the mum opens the door with her like bags packed, and there stands Magnifico. And he's holding the granddad's wish in his hands, and he's like, tell me where Asha is. Where is she? And they're like, we don't know. I don't know, and even if we did, we'd never tell you. And then he's there like, this is your wish, Sambino. And Sambino's like, oh, look at that. So pure, so inspiring. And then he's like, Magnifico just like absorbs it. It's like, ha 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 ha. And then he's like, oh my god, no, that like actually really hurt. Oh my god, ouch, that really hurt my wish belly. Ugh. Basically, Magnifico's like, one more chance, tell me now. And then they're like, no, I'll never tell you. Ugh. And then he'll like strike at them, and then they fall with, and like the house gets shattered, and they're just like laying there in rubble. So then he'll like get his cloak, and Magnifico will swish it away, and he'll like saunter off. And he's like, yes, I killed them. But then we see them like moving within the rubble, like looking for each other, like. So we know they're not actually like dead and stuff. Now obviously Asha has no idea that any of that happened, so she's there like rallying up her friends like within their like various houses and stuff, like going up to their windows like really creepy, like come along, and they start singing their little rebellion song. And it'll be like the rebellion song, like kind of what it is in the movie, but not quite that, but kind of like that vibe, but not those words, because obviously it's different now. And then as they're doing stuff and going through the village and through the shadows and stuff, and I want like the lighting and the shadows to be like very like dark and stuff, oh my god, we're gonna get captured, like guards walking by or something, and they're like trying to like sing as they go and do the thing that they need to obviously do. And then with like all of their help, and then they basically manage to sneak into the castle whilst they're doing this. And then Asha finds a way to where like the wishes are. She goes to open it, but like the queen's there, and she's like, Asha? And then Asha's like, oh my god, Queenie, because obviously she doesn't know she's actually evil, so she's like, it's Magnifico, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do anything, it's Magnifico, he's gone like mad with power or something, he's doing something. And then obviously it turns out that the queen's like evil and stuff. And so the queen like kind of like walks through, and she then ends up calling like this magical power to the king. And they're like, oh God, no. And like she basically bursts into the wish room, and there's like 5 wishes like still floating around, so obviously it'll be like used for Magnifico's power. And then there's Star like in a bubble which is like absorbing his power, and he's like less and less golden. And he's said like, Asha, no, you shouldn't have come here. And then obviously that's when she turns around, she realises the king's there, and he's there like, come on, ha 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 ha, and he's got like captured in like this weird bubble thing, her friends. And she's looking between like Star and her friends, and she's like so defeated, and she doesn't really know what to do. And they're like, just give up, come to me now. And then she starts walking forward, but then like sees one of the potions that obviously she sang about at the beginning, like on the side, and she like smashes it forward into King Magnifico's face, and he's like, ah! And it bursts the bubble that her friends are in, and they like drop down. And then the queen comes towards Asha, and then luckily, just in the nick of time, Simon, who was there like doing guard duties or whatever, basically stops the queen. And they're in like a fight, and then Asha runs through to like the little rope thing that opened up the ceiling, and she pulls it, and then obviously the thing starts opening up. All of her friends like randomly pick up random magical objects and weaponry. It's kind of like a slightly amusing fight because they obviously know how to use the magical stuff, and they're like firing it at Magnifico, and he's like, what, oh my God, and he's like fighting back. So it's a bit of an amusing fight, but then it gets like a bit more like serious a little bit later on. And then with like the magic that's like bashing about and the roof that's opening, all the wishes coming out and stuff, everything's like getting destroyed around them, and like the roofs are like getting destroyed where they're obviously not opening, and the walls are getting battered down, so like people are like from the village like looking up like, oh my God, what's going on over there then? And they've been really nosy and watching as like Magnifico like swirling all this stuff and like laughing really evilly and using like villainous magic. And then Simon basically like grabs the queen and like chucks her off the roof, and she like falls and splatters. And then the king's like, no, my wifey, I love her so much, why? And in this like moment of complete distress from the king, basically Asha goes and grabs like the spell book and starts like reading the spells about the stars and the wishes to reverse his power, and it's all like working and stuff. And then it's all of the wishes are coming out, he's like grabbing at them, trying to get them back in, but they're all like flailing out and like landing into people's souls, I guess. And as each one lands, they all start joining in like this chorus, which is like a song akin to When You Wish Upon a Star. Like it's got similar cadences, so you can like still feel the vibe. So obviously you could start with maybe Dahlia, and then just sort of go from there. There's people get added to it, like across the entire like land. And then as this is happening, Asher goes and runs to like try and grab the star like out of his bubble, because obviously he's still kind of been like wilting away. And then the king's like, no, and tries to like go towards her like all like evil, and basically the king's like racketing, going for Asher, and obviously she's there like trying to help the star, like, how do I get you out of here? And then the star with like last bit of power, he's like and then he like explodes himself as best he can like a bright light, and then he's then like laying on the floor, and then King Magnifico is floating away in the bubble like, no, you know how like villains say no a lot? Well, he's gonna be one of those villains. And then all like the wishes like carry on floating outwards, and they're all like going to people, and they're still like singing along like, yay! And then basically the stars, they're like laying on the floor like, oh my God, like I'm totally dead. You know, the whole, oh my God, no, please. And then Asha's got a grab spell book. She's like, I need to help him. And then all the friends are like around like, oh no, I don't know if you can do that. I mean, I don't know how you can bring a star back to life. So he's not like dead, he's just kind of like on the floor, and she's like, no. And he's like breathing like really heavy, and he's like looking at her, and his like eyes are fluttering, and she's like, no, stay with me. And then there's all the friends are around like, I don't think there's anything you can do, I don't think you can get like stars back, like I don't think that's how this works. And they're all like sad and like looking down, like all like moments of silence while she's just like sobbing. She's like, no, please. And then she like hold Star, like the star boy, and hold him close to her. And then you can't actually hear what she says, but then like there's like a little sparkling, and he's just there like back to him as normal self, and he's like, yeah, and he's like floating, he's like, wow, oh my God, kind of like, you know, like Beauty and the Beast in that sort of transformation. And he's like, oh wow, oh my God. And then he'll like kind of like spin around a bit and like morph and change into different things, and then back into a star form, and then back into the boy. And then he's like back to his nice glowy floaty self, and she's like, oh my god, you're okay, you're okay. Ah. You know, it should be like a little moment where everyone's like, oh my god, like let's just dry our eyes right now. And then it'll like kind of fade with them being all like happy stuff. And there's all like this like applause, and everyone's like, oh yeah, you're like great and everything, you defeated the king and we all feel happy now and fulfilled, and look at us feeling all bright and sparkly and light and fulfilled, and now I can just do whatever I dream, whatever I wish. And then basically Star's like, I have to go, but before I do, I'll grant you this wand. And he'll give her like a wand, and she's like, what? And he's like, for the purest of wishes. And then she like holds it, and then she has like a big old transformation, like a full-on like meet and greetable orange dress with like sparkles of like woven gold throughout it and sparkles of stars, and it's all like super pretty. And she's like, oh my god, yay. But do you really have to go? And then he'll be like, other people wish upon a star too. I have to make their wishes come true. And it'll be all the good old Disney cringe, and they have like a little hug, and then he'll like float up, and then he'll like become a star, and then yeah, it'll be like do do do. And then like right at the end we see then Sambino being the inspirational dude that he was like in the movie, and he's like playing music as people are, you know, helping rebuild the home and all this sort of stuff. Cute credits. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed my rendition of Wish. Let me know your thoughts and opinions and whatever. I mean, no notes. Would you prefer to watch my version of Wish, or did you literally love it as it was? Subscribe, like, do all the things that are all down there. Thanks muchly, and I will see you another time. Bye!